going on. But before you get into that, just kind of let the community know who you are in case people are watching that have never met you before. They don't know you.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've grew up in Omaha, I grew up in Omaha, and I went to Lake School, went to Howard Kennedy, went to Horace Mann, went to Central. All you Eagles out there,
All right.
and yeah, I never left town. People says, "Where'd you come from?" Came from here. Uh, Part of it was being here and seeing the history of Omaha. I just wanted to make sure and bring all the young people with me that if we don't do it, and no one's gonna do it. So we try to encourage people to take care of themselves, and that's no. I mean, what you see today with the contra virus and with all the disruption in the United States, we really need to step forward and do something because no one's going to do it for us.
Okay. So, do you have a background in medicine, or what is your
Actually,
connection?
my wife says I'm a perpetual um, um, repairer or healer. I started out. I went to Grace College of the Bible. I was going to be a missionary, and then in my studies there, I found out don't need to go to some country. We got enough stuff to do right here. My first job after I left college was I was a chaplain at Boys Town, and then after that, I started a group home they call them delinquents back then, but a group home for young people. And then after that, um, I got married, um, had a kid, and then I went to paramedic school, became a paramedic,
Mm.
and then I said, I can do this nursing thing, but a lot of people says you don't want to be a min or not. Well, I blew that off, and then I went to nursing school, and that's what I've been doing for the past 25 plus years is nursing everything from intensive care to ER to oncology, and now basically the field of public health.
All right, all right,
Mm-hmm.
nice, nice. So you are the founder. This is your vision,
Yep.
your passion project to open up a free clinic, Noah Free Clinic,
Yep.
to the community and offer services. Kind of let us know what that entails and who do you have on staff to help you out.
Well, I for years I worked for University of Nebraska Medical Center, and they have all the money and the resources, and they're a good place because I get my healthcare stuff done there. But everybody was moving out of North Omaha. I mean, all the black physicians died; no one replaced them.
Mm.
So the health disparities, and I could talk for hours on that, but I won't. The health disparities, if you're any other color but white, your health disparities are so high. I mean, you're more likely to die from something. And
Mm.
so while I was there, I put together a program called Mini MINI, Mini MANY, Mini Health Fairs, where I would just get a table, go someplace, take people's blood sugar and blood pressure. And those two simple things um, would give me enough information that I could refer them on for a better health because everyone knows in our community, you can't, you could probably name a dozen or so more people that are in your family or friends that either have diabetes or hypertension. And most of us in our community are not aware of that until we either have our first diabetic episode or our first heart attack or chest pain from high blood pressure. So um, we just decided to do it. I got a friend of mine who was a Boy Scout with me, Mark Darby, years back, and he's a nurse also. And we just started putting it together, and it grew and grew from there. And we have, I think you've interviewed some of the other people on our staff, and some people think that we just have a bunch of know nothing volunteers, but uh, Dr. Linda Smith, who has her PhD in public health, is our public health director. Shanta Smith, she's She has her master's in health education. She teaches a CPR, med aids, and all kind of courses like that. We have Janice Berry, who has her master's in education. She kind of does some administrative things. And then we have a whole group of other nurses. Some work part-time, some work casual, that dedicate their time to making our community the healthiest corner in Nebraska. People say that they say, well, that's you can't. Well, you got to start somewhere, and it's possible. I think it's possible.
Wow.
Hey, Brother Combs, most people, I call him the prophet, you know what I mean? Because that don't even like no to y'all. Give me an A, man. Give me an A, man.
Yeah. All I need is my staff and a robe.
Hey,
if it starts raining, you better watch out.
Hey, it's been rain already. It's pre-rain already.
Yeah.
But I said that in joking, but I'm very serious because God only send a particular people that have particular skills that have manifest their God-given talents to help all. And I just kind of want to just pat you on the back because you got a couple awards, right?
Oh yeah.
From whom? I know him.
I got one from President Obama. There's a Champion of Change Award.
Wow.
And then I got all the other, Urban League. I mean, well deserved. I know he's a modest man, but to get to, but how did Obama hear about you? I really don't know. I suspect, and he's gone now. I suspect it was kind of a loudmouth guy that was a friend of mine. His name was Matthew Stelly.
Okay, yeah.
And I suspect, because he said, "Oh, I wouldn't do nothing like that," but he knew too much about it. And it went from there. I mean, I thought it was a joke when I got the phone call. I thought, who
called you? Who? The president called you?
No, president called me.
His office? His office?
His office called.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the lady, she had a Hispanic surname, can't remember right now. And I said, yeah. And I didn't get rude with her. I said, yeah. I got more better things to do than play on the phone. She said, oh, no, go to this website and you'll see my name and you'll see the number there and you can call that. And so I did. And I went, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, because I just, I didn't think what we were doing here would get a national attention, but I guess Mr. Stelly is kind of a prolific writer. So
yeah, he is. He was. Yes, he was. Shout out to Matthew Stelly, a very intelligent man. And we was kind of adversarial, but I always respect him because he was very smart. And he did it to get better outcomes. From people. That's a man. He just wanted better outcomes because he was just very intelligent man.
Right.
So that's great that one of our neighbors recognized you to recognize what's happening in the community.
Mm-hmm.
But you told me a story a long time ago about our travels from our ancestors in the slave ships and how it's related to was it heart disease or
oh, you're talking about hypertension.
Yeah, hypertension.
Yeah, it's one of the theories is the reason that our ancestors, the ancestors that did survive on the ship here
during the transatlantic slave trade,
is because they were sodium retentive. In other words, they were sodium retentive. They held water, but that's good if you don't get water or you're already starved. To be sodium retentive is fine, but then when you got here, and then we cured everything with salt, then there again, that wasn't good because then we were holding water and getting high blood pressure. And once you get high blood pressure, it's like pumping up a tire too tight. It starts to leak, or your veins or the blood vessels in your heart or in your head, can leak, which is stroke or heart attack. But again, part of it was that our families that are still in Africa are not sodium retentive. They don't have high blood pressure or diabetes as bad as we do.
Is it because of the salt that was in the ocean?
I don't know, but the theory is that it had to do something with that. But again, it's what people will say is this is not proven science, but there's a lot of the culture here is different. We can change races. Let's say you're Asian Pacific Islander, you're Japanese or Chinese, and you have a basic diet of fish and rice and things like that, and you don't have heart disease as much, and you live a long, long life. But as soon as you come to the United States and you start eating McDonald's and processed food, that long life that your ancestors had back then is gone. You start having diabetes, hypertension, and cancer and things like that.
Is it because the high content that's in our food or processed food?
Yeah, it's because of diet.
Okay,
it's because of diet, and also I think other things too. Again, this is not science proven, but I mean, there's enough conjecture that you can. Is that it's when you're in a rural setting or you're in a small community setting, you're a little more peaceful. And diet, I mean, it's not, you come here, it's stress, it's noise, it's pollution, it's nothing against McDonald's, but it's McDonald's, it's Colonel Sanders. I mean, it's the diet and lifestyle. Oh yeah, diet and lifestyle has a lot to do with longevity.
So the combination of the foods that you eat, the stressors in your community, just your entire lifestyle could be a combination of the difference between here and
which goes
else.
To prove which group of people in the United States has the shortest lifespan? Black men.
Yep.
Black men.
If you look at it, I tell people, well, how do you know? Well, first there's research that shows that. But if you walk into a nursing home, you see a lot of white women, you see some white men, you see very few black men. So in the scale of who lives the longest, white women, white men, black women, black men on the bottom. And we're talking like about, in some cases in studies, it was 10, 12 years difference.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Wow.
Men die.
That's a big difference.
I mean, men die because of all the stress.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about what black men go through every day. Just everyday life. You got just a lot of variables against you.
Yeah. And people says, well, why is that? Well, that's because they get shot or by. Well, no, that is a part of it. But when you look at the numbers, even though those stand out and those are terrible,
very small. It's very small percent.
It's about our lifestyle and stressors.
Mostly stress is usually deal with stress, either economic stress, mental. But economics cause a lot of different variables.
I tell people an example. I have a white friend, and I ask him, how do you feel if you look in your rearview mirror and you see a police car? All right. Now, even me, and I'm not running from nobody. If I look in the back of a police car, I feel like this adrenaline, like
right.
And not because
you done something.
All policemen are, but I don't know what this policeman's thinking of me. And I know some good policemen, but I don't know. And that unknowing, that not knowing, and then coming out with, unclipping his, I just went, So, I told my kids, I tell my nephews and everybody, I says, if you ever get pulled over by a policeman, you keep your hands on the steering wheel till they come up to the car.
Right.
Then you stick them out the window. I says, don't give anyone a chance. And people says, well, you're thinking all policemen? No, I don't think all policemen are. I just don't know which policemen aren't.
Right. So you take that precaution with everyone. And that makes the officer feel safe.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to yield, especially when you're in a situation where they got a gun, you don't have a gun, and they have the authority based off of their pen. I'm a former probation officer. I understood. I never read the police report first. I've always met the defendant first because I had to do pre-sentence investigation. And if I had a bias, if I read the police report, I would have a bias before I met that person.
That's right.
And I wouldn't give them a correct evaluation. but I'm from the projects.
Yeah.
I'm from the hood.
Mhm.
So because I did that, others did not do that.
Right.
Others do it. So when you deal with other probation officers that don't look like us, that understand our situation, they evaluating you before off the police. And a lot of times police lie. They're humans. They lie.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's a tough issue, but being a black male, stress is a major factor to our longevity.
Yeah.
Mr. Combs, you had mentioned something earlier that I want to get into. What are some of the top underlying conditions that our Black people are dying from? But you mentioned earlier about the Black physicians in Omaha, and they had died off.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of give us a brief history of how that was significant for the community, and to what the effects are here now that we don't have them?
Well, it was back then, and I can give you a list of names. Dr. Johnson, everyone knows Dr.
Yeah, I went to
Johnson.
Dr. Johnson.
Dr. Solomon. There was like 3 or 4 other ones. And they actually had offices. Dr. Johnson had one on 30th Street.
Yep.
And then Dr. Solomon, just 3 or 4 blocks down from here. And there was Dennis. And when they were here.
When was that? Can we give a
Oh,
date to that?
We're saying, okay, I went to the 50s, 60s.
Okay.
Because Dr. Johnson would come to your house. He did house calls.
Oh.
So when they died, there was no one to replace them. Essentially, people in this community was really, I would say, kind of self-sufficient, except for the grocery stores were owned by our Jewish brothers. But there was Ritz Cab right out this window. There was barbecue place.
So we had our own structure, our own parallel structures.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't need.
Yeah, we didn't need to go out except for when you had surgery or something. But then I had my tonsils taken out of St. Joe's. Dr. Johnson took them
with
out.
St. Joe. Yep.
Okay.
And there was there was all kinds. Well, Safeway grocery store, and then they had it going on. Then the Carnation. I remember we used to go down to the Carnation Ballroom, or right down there. They had these little. It's like a baby contest with the cutest baby was.
Okay.
I was 5. It was boring to me, but my mom used to go in.
But it was entertainment.
It was entertainment, and then when they died, Dr. Jolman, Dr. Johnson, then there was nothing, and we were relegated to go. Not relegated. Then that's when one of my friends who's dead now, Jackie Hill, and some other people got together, and they started Charles Drew, which was supposed to be kind of a community center, because there was nothing that we could. We didn't have anything else here. All the major hospitals actually started in North Omaha.
Really?
Yep. Emmanuel, right off Ames.
Emmanuel used to be a complex. Emmanuel Nursing Home, Children's Hospital, and everything. Then there was it Lutheran, right where the Salvation Army is now, and they were all close. And there was the Omaha Hospital, which is gone now. But I mean, it wasn't far. But now everybody has moved west. Some people say, well, there's Creighton. Creighton has an ER down there. But I tell people that in the golden hour, when someone has a trauma, and you got to be, I mean, Creighton was closer than having to go all the way to, well, now we go to UNMC, but and
What's considered the golden hour?
The golden hour is after you've been shot or stabbed or in a car wreck. The first hour, if you can get treatment within the first hour, you have a greater chance of surviving.
Okay.
If you don't get treatment in that first hour, your chances of survival go down.
Okay.
So that's why sometimes when there's a real bad accident, they'll actually get a helicopter and fly you from wherever there was to the hospital. So if you get shot here in North Omaha, then you go to university, but if you have to go someplace else,
Chances of survival are low, huh?
you're out of luck if that has anything to do with it. So the goal was, I mean, and the university, and I can speak because I work for there. The university was actually making strides to get more minorities into the medical field. And these are not my personal opinions, but they would bring young blacks and minorities from Virginia or someplace else like that and bring them here for the summer and kind of expose them to what it's like to be a student or something. And then they would let them go back. But none of them ever came in and become physicians here. Part of my program, which is part of the thing that President Obama gave me, was that we took young people here in our community, and we exposed them to the medical professions. And people says, well, you're not a doctor. Of course I'm not a doctor. But not all medical providers have to be doctors. They can be nurses. We have one story, and I always praise it. Program. But in the back of my head, I thought, this guy is trouble. I mean, sagging pants, So, but I gave him a chance, and I was about ready to get rid of him one time. But one day, something just lit up. And now, Dupree is a paramedic, and he's working in the ER and intensive care at UNMC. I remember one of the pictures he had on his Facebook was he was at a gravesite pouring some malt liquor on somebody's. That was 10, 12 years ago. Now, he's 2 kids. He's also planning to be a fireman. I mean, it's become really, I'd say, one of our best success stories. We have other young people that have young girls that have gone on to finish nursing school. Got about a half a dozen of young ladies who've done that. And but it's we have to invest in our community. And one of the other stories I always tell kids is old timers. There's some old timers like me that are just greedy, and they want mine. They want all the leadership. They want all the stuff. And when young people try to come in and at least get mentored by them or do something, oh, you're too young. Well, you've got to start getting them involved, because eventually old people, I shouldn't say it like that.
Yeah, old people will die.
Old people will die. I mean, and that's how we lose our resources by not getting the young adults involved. And one of my other pet peeves is, old people can say that, but the point is, you can't keep telling them, call them kids. Now, if you're the mama, you can call them kids all you want to. But if you're in the community and these people are 20, 24, you can call them young adults. But calling them kids I think is disrespectful, just like calling an old person an old person.
Right.
I mean, you need to give them the respect. And if you can't hand the torch on to somebody, torch is going to go out, and you ain't going to have nothing here anyway.
Yeah, similar to what you talked about with the doctors.
Right.
It hasn't been replaced. I mean, we replaced with basketball player after basketball player. Yeah. But like I said, we need more doctors, more lawyers. We need more of those professional individuals.
Yep.
You guys are still running your program for young people. When does that start, and how can young people get involved?
Well, it of course with COVID-19, there's a hitch in it, because all the schools are closed. Our programs are in the schools. I mean, we can't get in any school. So the summer intern program, and we didn't get funded for that, but someone did give us. We got some money for it. So we're going to do the summer intern program. The YO program, we just have to get creative. I don't know how we're going to do it.
What is that?
The Youth Expression of Health it's like a 1-week camp for junior high and high school kids. And they all get together. They learn CPR, first aid. They learn health information. They do a project. And at the end of the thing, we all go to the zoo I mean, it's kind of like a camp, but we don't camp out. It's just they come there every day at North. We feed them lunch. So it's we're going to do it, but we've got to be creative. Just like all our other outreach programs, we had to switch them up. Now we're doing a podcast, and we're doing a Zoom meeting because we're an abundance of caution. We don't want to bring a bunch of kids together and any of them get sick. So we're
right. Okay. Well, yeah, especially since you guys are a leader.
Yeah.
Where do you get the idea of you guys do comic books for young people to educate them on health careers?
Right.
Where do you guys get the idea for Prevention Man?
Prevention Man was something I did, about 20 years ago. Started with Prevention Man, and Prevention Man basically is a Black superhero, and his superpower is he can teach you how to prevent from getting sick. And so he tells you to exercise, eat right, tells men to get their prostate examined, tells women to make sure you get a pap smear. So Prevention Man basically is a voice of, we need to do this to stay healthy.
Right. Okay, great. Because I know we see them at parades.
Yeah.
I know the young people love them, especially young, they love them.
Yeah. And I did see in there, I just peeked in there really quick. It does talk about waiting to have sex.
Yeah.
So that message goes towards our young people, teenagers.
Yep. And Prevention, our program is a ministry. And some people says, well, how can you have a ministry and be talking about sex? Because sex is a normal, natural thing.
Right.
Now, what we want to do is we want people to be mindful, but we want them to be healthy. So if you decide you're going to make that choice to have sex before you're married, then you have to be responsible enough to know that you need to put a condom on. You need to be responsible enough that either you have birth control. I mean, so we deal with people where they're at. We don't try to get everyone to have an idea. We want them to be the best they can be. And another example, I went to, and I'll leave out some names of agencies. I went to this agency for training, and there was a person outside with a sign saying, "You're going to go to hell." You can guess what the agency was. Uh-huh. And I says, "I know that person from somewhere." And he says, "Oh, we went to Grace together." I said, "We sure did." And he says, "How can you go in there?" And I says, "Because I want to show the love of Christ." And I told him, "Don't be offended out there. You're going to go to hell." I says, "And how are they going to start to relate to you about the message?" Mm-hmm. I says, "So if you were going to say, 'Can I talk to you? Can I give you options? Do you need some help?' That's the love of Christ." Mm-hmm. You're going to go to hell. There's nothing but push a person away and saying, "Well, better than." So what I try to do is show them the love of Christ. The love of Christ will compel you. And that's more appealing than someone pointing their finger at you saying,
"Right,
you're going to." So, I mean, and so I get criticized by that, but that's what I believe. Right. And I believe that one of my other things was people says, "Well, I give them one chance." You know what? I would do in the model of Christ. I give young people or people who work with me chance after chance after chance.
Right.
Mm-hmm. People says, "Well, they don't learn nothing from that." That's not. We're not. They're going to learn that I'm going to stick with them. The love of Christ is we're going to stick with them.
Right.
And then that's when we see people change. That's when you see maybe this person does care about me. So, and that's about our ministry and the people that work with us. Mm-hmm. They're like-minded.
Well, young people sometimes test things in order to see if you are true.
Yeah.
And so if you can bear the test, then they will conform. Yeah. I work with a lot of young people, and they don't trust authority. They don't trust some adults because they've been mistreated. And so they're going to test every adult to see if you can weigh that test. And
because they can stand back and say, "See, I knew you were just like them." Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, Brother Combs, Prophet Iowa, you are necessary.
Prophet Ira.
Yeah, Prophet Ira. Heck, I like that. That's a good name, ain't it?
Can we talk about some of the underlying conditions that our Black people are dying from?
Oh yeah,
What are the top
top
3 or 4?
heart disease,
Okay.
and then that's lifestyle and diet. Um, uh, and people say, well, it's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard to change your diet. It's really hard to change your lifestyle. And I put this on media, when media shows that this big giant super triple decker Mongo burger, or the of course, again, people, the Doritos, all this stuff, you're supposed to have 240 milligrams of sodium a day. It's a whole day. One bag of those Doritos or anything that has salt in it has anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium. You get your whole daily allotment in one serving.
Right.
Now, sodium, it's like a sponge. When you drink water, instead of you peeing it out, it kind of stays with you. The more water you get in your body, your heart's pumping, the higher your blood pressure. So you eating, what's those flaming Doritos, or there's another one?
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
That'd be like that.
Hot Cheetos. Along with other things that have sodium that you don't
Like
think about. Pop. And you drink, I know some people, that's their lunch. Hot Doritos and pop.
Right.
You're talking like 400 or 500 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah.
And your heart is pumping. It's going to do okay for a minute, year, or maybe, and then all of a sudden your heart gets more tired. The muscle, instead of it getting lean, it expands. And then you talk about heart disease, congestive heart failure, heart attack, blood vessels in your head, stroke. So that's the number one killer of people, and especially African Americans, is heart disease.
Wow.
So and we talked about this. This corona is basically, it's kind of like making everybody healthy now, because I see people riding their bikes, I see them walking now.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people are moving that didn't move before.
Right, because if you're just an average, normal, healthy person, corona is still bad and it can hurt you. But if you have underlying health diseases, like if you have diabetes, asthma, hypertension, all those, that's you're like 4 or 5 notches from dying, because those complicate or more complicate the disease process.
Man.
So what's number 2?
Number 2, cancer. Cancer. And we wrap them all together. The number, I call the number 1 cancer, and people will automatically think, oh, breast cancer. Actually, breast cancer is not on the top 3 or 4. It's just that, it gets promoted more. It's promoted more, and your mom and everything like that. Right. The number 1 is lung cancer. And that's the one cancer that is preventable. All you need to do is stop smoking.
Right. That's interesting. My mom smoked, so I think probably about 80. No, she died at 88. But she never had no problems with her lungs, but she smoked all her life.
Yeah.
So some people can go through that, and other people get cancer quickly.
Yeah. And some people don't smoke, but their parents or their spouse smokes, and they can get lung cancer from secondhand smoke.
Interesting.
So, some people are more sensitive to
interesting. So it's based off your genetics because everybody don't get cancer from smoking, because for example, my mom smoked forever. She smoked the major cigarette, like Pall Mall. Yeah. The real cigarettes. And they got fake cigarettes. Okay. But Pall Mall's the top one. Yeah. Marlboro, they got high, very, very, very high content.
Camels.
Yeah, Camel, they got very, very high content. And so, but she never had no problem. Every once in a while had a dry cough, but never had any problem. That's very interesting.
And just think, if she hadn't smoked, maybe she'd live another 10 years.
Probably. Yep. Probably. Yep.
Yeah. And it's all guess and conjecture. Like, I saw this one lady who had the coronavirus. She was 105 and survived.
Right.
Now,
I heard about that.
Yeah. So those
probably would be exceptions.
Yeah. And it's genetics. Yeah. Some people can, smoke and drink all their life, and then one person. Yeah.
Right. It's interesting.
So what kind of services does the Noah Free Clinic offer?
We offer All of our services are free. And we offer STD screening, chlamydia and gonorrhea, HIV, hepatitis C, free.
Mhm.
And chlamydia and gonorrhea, we have a slogan. It says urine luck. It's urine, URINE,
Mhm.
urine luck, where you can just pee in a container and we can get the results in 2 days, whether you have chlamydia or gonorrhea.
Mm.
The other ones is it's a little finger stick. We can check for HIV, and that takes like 10 minutes.
For results for
For
HIV?
results, yeah.
Okay.
It's called a point of care test. We also do blood sugar. The point of care, you can stick your finger. Of course, we take your blood pressure, and we do other exams of free flu shots. If they ever get a vaccine out for the COVID-19, I'm sure we'll be giving those too. What we do is that people will come to us. We'll give them an exam and listen to their lungs and stuff like that. And what we can do is we call it a warm handoff. If I think that you've got some more serious health issues going on, while you're sitting there, I will get on the phone and I'll call Charles Drew or the ER or a doctor to make an appointment for you to go see them right away. We've actually called 911 and had them taken to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
But it's because some agency says, well, we make referrals. So a person comes in, their blood sugar is crazy high. So we make a referral, go see your primary care physician. And the patient will go, okay. They don't have a primary care physician.
Right.
They don't know the first place to go. The community health centers, federally qualified community health centers, One World and Charles Drew. Those are the places we refer lots of people, but we can also refer them directly to the hospital or to the ER.
Right.
And everyone's worried, well, I got, that's going to be real expensive. I says, I'm not playing, but I'm saying, well, I guess if you die, you don't have to pay the bill. So I says, and there are most of the hospitals, they're supposed to have a program where the social work can look and see about cost, because they're supposed to give some of these services out free.
That's good to know. Now, do you do any visits in regards to teeth, dental?
No, we don't. But we do refer people to Creighton Dental School. And that's probably one of the biggest things that are missing besides mental health is dental and mental health. There are very few places around that can do that. And again, I tell people, and this is my opinion, a lot of times, especially if you're a young minority or you're a young adult minority and you have an issue that you want to deal with, you're probably better off going to see someone that looks like you. People have criticized me saying, oh, a doctor is a doctor and a surgeon is a surgeon. Really yeah. Well, if my eyes are closed, I don't know who's cutting on me. But if I'm talking to someone, and just like you just said, that they can relate to, because, and there's some, and of course, I'm not going to generalize. There are some non-minority counselors out there that are really good working with African-American people. But in general, it's a different story.
Without doubt.
You can't relate to looking in the rearview mirror and seeing a police bag.
Right, exactly.
It's important. It is important. That's why Black men don't go to the doctor a lot, because it's that fear. I mean, it's an honest fear.
Because
because you don't know if what they're shooting you with. For real. I mean, it's a natural fear. So I try to have William care. I try to take care. I try to take care of myself.
William care.
Obamacare.
Yeah, I got William
care. We want to see you up at the clinic.
Okay. But I do go to the health fairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go to health fairs because I want to be proactive. In advance, because I don't know what's going on with me, because I'm not going to the regular hospital because I'm fear for that, but I'll go to a NOAA sanctioned event because I trust it, because he look like me and he's a prophet.
And if it's something serious, I'm gonna grab him by the arm and take him to the doctor.
Hospital.
Right. But sometimes we need that. And if it's not
need that what?
need that encouragement by another person. Like a lot of times, the biggest encourager for Black men is their wife. And their wife says, oh no, you're going to the hospital.
So they need that push.
They need that push. And especially because she wants to make sure that she stays alive. And so she can keep nagging him. No, I just kidding. No, I mean, but that, especially we got couples I know that are 40, 50 years married, and and she be dragging them to the health fair. Prostate exams. That's another one, is prostate exam. If you get prostate cancer, African-American man, you're 50% more likely to die from it.
Is that right?
Now, yeah. And what doctors will say, for a white person, the prostate, they say, oh, well, we'll just wait and watch. But typically when African-American men have prostate cancer, it's more aggressive. So you watch and wait and you be dead. The other reason the African-Americans don't like to go for prostate exams, they heard that treatment for prostate will give me ED, erectile dysfunction, a limp. And the point is, there's all kind of stuff that can correct that now. And again, would you rather be stiff, dead in the ground? I mean, so they just have to deal with reality. You're responsible for your family, your wife, your grandkids, and everything.
And I'm sure they know that, but it still is not enough to get them to these health fairs. So what are some ideas of ways to get Black men and Black people in general, but specifically Black men, to these health clinics? They won't walk into the hospital or a doctor's office, but maybe they'll come to a health fair.
The best way is to, and William's really good at this, is market toward the people you want to come. So when you start seeing pictures of other Black men, like on our posters we have Men's Day. We've had one every year where we do a lot of stuff. And you see people that look like you. We even put pictures of men in the community on there. Then the mystery is kind of gone. And you can get rid of some of the fear. But but once you get a guy in, and once he knows you, like, these guys said, this is the only place I come for a prostate exam because I know what size the finger is. But those are because you can live a longer life. But so
the exam itself is scary for them.
Oh yeah, for a prostate exam, there's two things. One is it's called digital rectal exam, and when the finger goes up and you can feel the prostate in the rectum. Some guy says, I'm not going to do that, no finger. But once you get it done, once you know it and know that you're healthy, the other is we draw blood it's called a PSA, prostate specific antigen. And that also is a good indicator how healthy your prostate is. The only thing about that is that the older you get, the more your PSA goes up, which is normal. But if you don't get it taken every year or in increments, you don't know if it's higher now or it's, than it was before. So we encourage people to do that, to come in and just take care of their life. And we try to deputize them and go out and bring your buddies in. And, because that's how we're going to keep our community healthy.
Right. I mean, for males, that's a serious, that's mental. We have to have somebody stick a finger up the butt. So I prefer a woman to do it. That's what I prefer. I prefer a woman.
So either male or female can do that, though. A nurse, right? A nurse or a doctor?
Actually, it's a nurse practitioner or a doctor.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then you have both, right? In your clinic?
Yeah, we have both.
Okay.
For years, Jackie Hill, who was my partner when we started this, she died 2 or 3 years ago. She used to do them all the time. And they said, yep. Yeah, she got them little fingers.
Yeah, see different. Big fingers.
So what's your message to men, Omaha that's listening, Omaha community is listening by via radio, via Facebook and YouTube? What's your message to Black men in regards to prostate and getting them checked?
Prostate and there's all kinds of prostate, colon cancer, all those. Is that
it's on the rise.
It's on the rise, and it has to do with diet. It has to do with a whole bunch of things. And it's You can come to our clinic. You don't have to go to a health fair, and it can be done. It's always done confidentially. And then while you're there, you can get a total thing. You can get your blood pressure checked. You can get your blood sugar checked. If you want to pee for us, you can get a check for if you have an STD. We can listen to your lungs, listen to your heart. I mean, and it's not going to cost anything. If you want to donate, then that'd be good, but won't cost anything because our goal is to make North Omaha the healthiest corner in Nebraska. Say that, but we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And when you look at, I know to me, the Greek got in trouble for this. He's saying something. He says, you look at African American men.
Oh, Jimmy the Greek.
Yep.
But that's a true statement he said.
Yeah. What he said was about African American men that, they're built. I mean, they're strong. And people go, oh, that, they got in big trouble and I don't know, whatever. But the point is, we built this country. I mean, and I can keep talking about. My father came from Missouri with his brothers. They were farm guys, and they came up here, had kids. They all worked at the packing house, made good money. It was tough work. Same now. They're tough jobs. The Latino population in South Omaha, where it used to be most blacks, now it's Latinos that are. We've got the body. We just got to make sure we take care of it, and that things that are the smoking. I haven't mentioned drinking, but that's another one. And the salt and sodium, all those things are what we're dying from, and it just need to change it. Even me, one time I weighed 310 pounds, and then now I weigh 260. And my goal is 220. Yeah, that's my weight when I was in high school.
Right. Okay. If you get down to it,
that's awesome.
I'm working on it too.
But
so.
I feel better.
So what you doing then? What are you doing to decrease your weight?
I'm walking and I'm actually pushing away.
Pushing away from
the table. And just looking and saying, I'm going to eat that. I'm not going to inhale it.
Right.
Because a lot of times people go, oh, I'm hungry.
You got to chew it real good because a lot of people don't know. If you don't chew your food good, it's hard for your body to digest. So I take a long time. Where some people eat fast. They eat that fast. Food. So it's taking a long time for it to digest. And
so and just keep busy. People says, well, how come you haven't retired? Well, I'm 69. I could have retired, 4 or 5 years ago, but by being busy, by keeping going, and with the clinic, I retired from the med center. I'm doing the clinic full time now. It keeps you going.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit in my recliner rocking chair and watching. I don't know what I watch now. There's no sports anymore, but watch cartoons or something. But
but your life is wasted away. That's why I say older individuals. I love making elder calls because they are necessary. And so you can't retire on life.
No.
All that knowledge you work for someone else. Now your community needs you, and you're going to retire and not teach no longer. And we got a lot of teachers that are retired, and we got a lot of students that need help.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, whatever. We can't retire on life. We can't retire on life. So, brother, that's why I call you the prophet. Oh yeah, that's why I call you the prophet. You remind me of Reverend Reynolds. Reverend Reynolds. He worked until he died. He worked until he died, and that's how I'm going to be. I'm never going to stop working.
Yeah. My grandpa says you'd rather burn out than rust out. So
that's right.
The last thing I want to talk about, I didn't have my mask on because it's hard for me to talk with this mic, but we got masks at Noah Free Clinic. And I passed out a whole bunch of masks at the park. And I know there's good weather. Everyone's out there not doing their social distancing and all this stuff like that. But again, it's not about politics. It's about you being healthy. And the sad thing to say, and a young man said it, he said, Mr. Combs, they're not going to take this serious until one of their friends gets COVID-19 and dies. And I said, I hope that no one has to do that. So we got free masks. We got cloth masks. We got surgical masks. We got
Good.
all kinds. We got a couple ninja masks.
Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. This is what I got from him. You know how to get me some, Martin.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wow. So they can come and get masks, free masks.
Just come up there and get your mask. See,
Okay.
now I got a ninja blue velvet
Oh,
mask.
you got designer one.
Yeah, I
You
got
go,
designer
all
one.
Okay. Brother Combs, Prophet, we got one question. You know, I like to attack conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And I know you work for God. You're the prophet, right? Okay.
Oh, the setup.
So now, you know, some people are concerned about vaccines. They're concerned that if we don't get if people don't get the vaccine, they won't be able to go to school. They won't be able to buy things. Are people required? Are people required to take a vaccine? Because right now there's plenty of vaccines right now, even the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Do you believe something like that is going to happen where they're going to force people to take a vaccine?
Oh, that's by a government agency. Now, a school district can say, you have to be vaccinated before you come in, unless you have a religious belief or something like that.
Right.
The whole idea behind vaccine is not everyone has to get one, but it's called herd vaccination, which means enough people get vaccinated that generally no one's going to have a problem with it. The only sad thing about it is that, that people don't understand that vaccines have improved so much. The thing about vaccines cause autism, vaccines cause this. I took flu vaccine and I got the flu. Okay. The way that the vaccines have progressed now, that they're either attenuated or that there's another new name for it that they have, but you cannot get flu from a flu vaccine because I don't have time to explain all of it, but essentially a vaccine gives your body a picture of what the enemy looks like.
Okay.
So that you all have anti-enemy fighters there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get exposed to the flu, your body antibodies attack it right away. You don't get the flu. That's the whole principle. What they used to do was, like you're old enough, you probably got the polio or smallpox.
Yep.
You actually got a little bit of the smallpox. You actually got, especially with the swine flu, you got a little bit of it. So some people did get the flu, and some people, if you got that smallpox thing, or actually cowpox. But they've advanced so much. I'm sure there are people out there that will never trust. But the sad thing is that these stories I hear on TV about a family for religious beliefs would not get their child vaccinated, and their child died from chickenpox, or their child died from whooping cough. And that's not necessary. And so I encourage people, do your study, check with your doctor. Then, all my kids and my grandkids are vaccinated. They says, well, what if? But there are a greater chance of, especially as we are becoming more, I would say, universal. Nothing against other countries, but when we have other people come into our countries who don't have the advantage of being vaccinated, they're not vaccinated. Yeah, then we do start to have a onslaught of measles and mumps and chickenpox because these young people, or even their adults, were never been vaccinated, and they may come with it. So that's why we encourage everyone to get vaccinated. And my suggestion is that before you, I know if I were to get a passport and go somewhere, I got to get all kinds of shots.
Right.
And so I think it should be, anyway. I talk forever.
But there's no conspiracy far as vaccine. That they shooting you with what do you call it? A chip or something?
Oh,
to get the third eye or something.
Actually, no, what you're talking about is true. There are places where some company had a chip installed in their employees, and they could open a door.
Yeah, I seen
and
that.
They do stuff like that. But that's up to you. I mean,
But it's nothing in the vaccine.
No, it's not a vaccine.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you can chip my dog. I know that you can do that now. You can put a chip in a dog,
Right.
and if you get lost, they can find. But yeah, we just have to be cautious and not let people get us going crazy. I mean, I want to say something about a president, but I don't have time right now.
Wait, we got time, bro. Call me the prophet. The prophet. We can sit back and wait.
Because a person that spreads conspiracy theories like that, like Obama, where he was born, and it's just nonsense. It's deflecting from you're not doing a good job. So, but anyway, I'm an independent. So,
all right.
Now,
all right.
Mr. Combs,
sure.
before you go, your clinic is very unique in what it does and what it offers the community and the services. Is there any other places like yours or similar, pretty close, that the community
This is Noah
should
Clinic.
know about?
Noah Clinic is the only nurse-run clinic. Now we have a physician who's a medical director, and we have nurse practitioners who can actually do the same thing as physicians can do. But there's not in Omaha, not in Nebraska. The next closest thing to us would be there's a Renaissance clinic, which is run by Methodist, which has a nurse practitioner. And then there's down the street here, there's called it's Saint whatever. It's the Heart Station or something.
Oh yeah.
Sacred Heart?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it
It's a heart ministry.
Heart Ministry.
Ministry?
Yeah. Heart Ministry. They have a nurse practitioner that works there who actually does some things like that. But it's not on a consistent basis. We saw we had 1,700 patients last year.
Man.
And that doesn't include the youth programs. That doesn't include the support groups, or that doesn't include flu shots. But it's so we've grown. We've actually grown from when we first started. Our first year, our budget was $200, and now it's and because everything we had was donated, and everyone was working out of the back of our car. Now this year, we have a grant from the Adolescent Health Project, which allows us to treat and see and hire community health workers. And we got another grant, HRSA grant, with the University of Nebraska College of Nursing, where it's called intensive primary care, where nurses will see a patient more frequently than every 3 months, like maybe every week, or call them every week to see that their medical outcomes. And that's another grant we've got. And we get reimbursed from the state for testing for HIV, not as much as the clinics do, other clinics do, but we have made it so that we can, we can operate. The only thing is we got a little kick in the pants this year. Now we had a big luncheon coming up called Champion of Change Lunch.
Yeah.
And now we can't do it because, we can't congregate people together. And so that part of that money was supposed to be for our summer program. So we did get some money from Omaha Gives at $2,500. But if anyone wants to volunteer or to donate, it's for our community. And so we'd be glad to, like my mama said, if you don't ask, you don't get. So
right. Close mouth will get fed. Right now.
Do you think you could run a health fair like via Zoom or platform, video conferencing platform like Zoom?
Telehealth. Yep, we can. But sometimes you need the person there to stick them or whatever. I mean, you can. I think
just the education piece.
Yeah, just the education piece. And I think one of the things that would work really good in telehealth would be mental health counseling. So a person doesn't have to come in; they can get on Zoom, or we also use what's the other one? Because I think
Microsoft or which one?
I forget it, but it's another one just like Zoom.
Probably webinar, WeberJam, or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is possible if you wanted to do something like that. Because what else are you going to do? Are you just not going to get the the information out to the community?
Oh,
I mean, I would
the-
see that as a possibility.
Yeah. The key there is you need to have people that have the mechanism to see you. So do they have a computer, or you can just use your cell phone if you want to for Zoom. But yeah, that's we do that now because ever since March, we haven't had a live face-to-face board meeting. All our board meetings have been on Zoom.
Okay.
Education things that we do, like 360 or was it 180? Whatever that is.
Yeah, 360.
360, that's on Zoom. I mean, so Zoom is going to be, and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the first hour, for sure. Well, Prophet Combs, we appreciate you coming in and dialoguing. You're always welcome back. I think your Dr. Smith is going to be in tomorrow to give us an update for us on the latest CDC stats.
Yeah.
And if I may interject real quick, thank you so much for allowing her to come in
I'm sure.
on behalf of NOAA, just to kind of give the community a weekly health update as it pertains to the coronavirus
She's our
and
public
other
health
things
person.
that we, should be knowing about in terms of the kind of the underlying conditions that we die from and what we can do to kind of eradicate those diseases in our life.
And you can tell your listeners that if they want a comic, or we also have the NOAA magazine, that noahclinic@cox.net, then we can send them a digital copy or we can mail them one.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
All right, Omaha, Nebraska. We have Ira Combe, the founder of North Omaha Area Health, in the building. I just want to remind you that they have all free services. I got one right here, free cancer screening. So they do a lot of free screening, cholesterol, prostate, et cetera, et cetera.
Flip it over.
Also, blood pressure, free sugar screening. They do it all. They do it all. And if also they give out free condoms too, so we can practice safe sex also.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do it all. They are located at 5620 Ames Avenue. Their number is 402-933-0737, 402-933-0737. Please call. You can get an appointment. And you could be seen. So you have any aches or pains. If you don't have health insurance, NOAA is the place to go. I do want to remind you that the ACC Obamacare hasn't been reopened up, so you can apply for health care for those that don't have health care. So we want to make sure that we stay healthy. Some of the highlights of the interview is to, try to stay healthy as possible. Exercise, modify what we eat. You know what I mean? Because I don't like saying diet, because we don't want to die.
No one likes diet.
Right.
So we just modify how we eat, what time we stop eating, what time. We talk about intermittent fasting, and maybe apply that to one's life every day. So let's be proactive about our health. If you guys want to make sure, I know you got young people, get the go up there, you get the comic books and everything. You got a young person that wants to get involved with the healthcare industry, make sure you give NOAA a call. We need more doctors that look like us.
That's right.
Without a doubt. Anything else, Martine?
Just want to, say to the men, get your prostates checked. Ladies, encourage your boyfriends or your husbands to go get a check, because I know that's something that they don't want to do, but it's very, very serious. And the condition is getting worse because you're not going in. Men are not going in to get checked. So just be mindful of that and get in and get your annual visit, your annual check, and all the other, your heart disease, get your blood check, your sugar check, all that. Just do a whole lineup of what would you call something like that? Just a whole
like body check. Tune up, ain't it?
Yeah. Full service.
Full service, all right. They're there for you and it's free of charge.
Without doubt. Before we go, I'm gonna tell you this one story, and this story is by a gentleman named Brother Hogan. He used to run a golf course. They used to call it Miller Park. I think now they call it Hogan Golf Course, right up on North 30th Street. He said he used to get up every Saturday and put Armor All on his car, those tires, wash his car, make it look good, Armor All inside. But he said, William, because he was dying when he was telling me this story. He said, I didn't take care of my body, William. I took better care of my car than my body. And so we got a lot of people that do that. They cherish their cars. They cherish the material things in their life. Oh, you got to have a pretty lawn, but they don't want to go for a walk, or they don't want to eat right. to make sure they stay alive. So I just want to just remind you of that story. Material things, this material thing, a person is real. A person is all life. And so we got to make sure that we focus on our life, y'all. So let's get some exercise. Martine, she said she did like 3 miles.
Yep.
She got challenged for a 5-mile walk.
I sure did.
I'm not going to mess with them at all. I ain't going to mess with them. I'm going over at Northwest. I've been doing a track workout. I had a flashback. He tried to get back to his high school weight. I'm trying to get back to school jumping because I'm the greatest jumper. So I got to get there and exercise. So I've been doing some stairs, just little light, little light stuff. And so we all gotta do something. We're gonna do it, bro. Hey, Brother Combs, when I get ready to dunk, I'm gonna have you throw me the alley-oop. Oh yeah. At 55, I said, "Hey, King, 55, he jumping again." Ira Combs, the prophet, throws him the alley-oop. Oh, I like that. I like that story. Omaha, we having some fun. On a serious note, please, if you do not have health insurance, Noah Area Health can help you out. They are located at 5620 Ames Avenue. Their number is 402-907-37. Women, you are the power in men's life. So we encourage you to push them because, we kind of scared. We get scared. We probably don't show it. So we need that extra push. Okay.
And did you mention, Mr. Combs, if there was testing for COVID-19 at your clinic?
No. What we test is for temperature and everything. We're working with that right now with other agencies in Douglas County.
Okay.
Because it's a special procedure. Not that it's a special test, but it's a special procedure on how you do it to protect the person doing the test, but also other people that may come after you do the test.
Okay.
All right.
So you gotta have basically a quarantine area.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right, great.
But you can go down to Charles Drew,
right,
and One World, and they are providing free testing. Again, give them a call. You can get an appointment. We're going to be working out with some of the Charles Drew because Charles Drew is actually still doing the drive-through testing. But again, they want you to call to make an appointment. Yeah. If you are a agency, especially like a nursing home or something like that if you want a special time, call Charles Drew. They'll make a special time because they're giving out different parking slots where individuals come out if they want to stay separated from the general public. So nursing home or anyone else that are really sensitive and they want to get out to the general public, so that they can make that happen, y'all. Omaha, Nebraska, we appreciate you. Today is Love Yourself Thursday. It is 5:19. We about to get out of here, y'all.
All right, boss with us.
You're in the mix with E-Dub.
Thank you, Mr. Combs.
Pulling out the coupe at the lot, told him 12 swat, busting all the bells out the box. I just hit the link with the box, had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn field, I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deals, we been trapping like the 80s. She said that, so got the cash out. Told him wipe it, no. Say slash. I won't never sell my soul, and I can back that. And I really wanna know when you wet. I was at that, where the stash at? Cruise the city in a bulletproof Cadillac. Cause I know these have to wear the bag at. Gotta move smarter, gotta move harder. Try to give me 5 mile water. I lay it down on my son, on my daughter. I had the Draco with me, Dwayne Carter. A lot of out here playing, ain't ballin'. I done put my whole arm in the rim, Ben's collar. And I know Poppy get a key for the park. Shotty better seen the double C's, I bought her. Got it looking like a Leah, she a model. I got the pink slip up, my whip ski list. Compton, I'm about to get the key to the city. Paddock, light up the city. Forgetting out the coupe at the lot. Told him 12 swat, busting all the bells out the box.